All right, thank you for the response. Okay, what we're going to do first is I have a few questions I would like to ask everybody, but I will share my questions first. Okay, so let me share the screen first. All right, so first of all, you will need to go to that link, ahaslides.com/59EE8, and then start answering the first question. So the first question is, if you could be anywhere right now on a holiday, because I know it's in the middle of the week, right? But if you could be anywhere right now on a holiday, where would you be? Where would you like to be? Okay, I've got one response, two responses. Let's see. Wow. Okay. So far, Kampong. Yeah. Okay. We can't cross. We can't do any interstate travel yet, right? So I think there are those of us who would like to go back to our hometown. Yeah. Nobody wants to be at home. I'm okay. There's those who want to be at home as well. Let's see. I'll probably stop and move on to the next one after I get about maybe 25 to 30 responses, since just now I thought that I saw there were about 30 plus participants. So everybody wants to balik kampung, yeah. Okay, let's see. All right, somebody wants to go hiking or go to the mountains. Let's see. Okay, earlier on, it was the beach that had the highest percentage. For those who didn't answer home, just to let you guys know, I'm not even at home myself. I'm actually at the office conducting this workshop from the office. So I have to get out of the house as well. Okay, let's see. I'll move on to the next question when I hit maybe about 20. I'm so sorry, there's something wrong with the HDMI cable. It's quite sensitive. Okay. Okay, so looks like I'll wait for another 3, and then I'll move on to the next question. But I think it won't change the results. So almost close to 50% of us want to go back to our kampong, right? Okay, so there could be some good news in the months to come. Okay, let's wait for one more person. All right. So, this is nice. 40% would like to go back, balik kampong, and then the rest, even out, would like to visit somewhere else. No one has stated others. Okay, and then there's about 15% of you who are happy to be at home. Okay, all right, so let's go on to the next question. Okay, where are you connecting from currently? So I'd like to know where is everybody at? I'm in Shah Alam from the campus, from my campus. Where is everybody else at? So this one you will need to type your answer. Oh, Kuantan. Okay, I used to study in Kuantan. Gombak. Oh, someone's at the campus as well. Okay. Seremban, Gambang, Ampang. Okay. Right, UIA Gambang. All right. So there are those from campus. KL. Right. So it looks like we've got basically 3 states there. 4. Okay, now I've got Seremban there as well. Let's see. Okay. So there's actually a lot of you who are actually at work, right? Or from campus. Pago, all right. Okay, there's about 22 responses. So basically, Seremban, Kuantan, yeah, we're not. So we're not in the same location, definitely. And the only one in here from Shah Alam, actually. So yeah, so we're all over the place. All right, next question. Quick one. How are you feeling this morning? Okay, so this is very important to me, for me to know. Right, how are you feeling this morning? So this one you just need to rate. Are you excited, ready to learn, happy? Okay, I'm so glad there's a lot who are happy. Nervous? Okay, nervous. I think that should be me. I should be the one that's nervous. All right, okay, let's see. Ready to learn. I'm so happy to see that as well. 4.9%. Ready to learn. Nervous, okay. There's nothing to be nervous about. But if I was honest, I'm a little bit nervous myself. Okay. So glad everybody's happy, excited. Okay, not many are excited. Okay. I hope maybe at the end of the session, you'll be more excited, especially to apply gamification in your lessons. So let's see, okay, about 24. So excited, about 3.9. Ready to learn, okay, I'm very happy to see that. 4.8. Happy, also quite high, 4.3. Nervous, all right, just a few of you, okay. Right, so I'm wondering why some of you are very happy this morning. So is it because you managed to get your drink? So what did you drink this morning? Water. Okay, so juice, tea, coffee, right? Okay, water. Now I'm worried. Is it because you guys didn't have time for your breakfast? Okay, so this is, but typically I always get the same response. Coffee will always be more than those who drink tea. But it's good that everyone is, majority are actually just drinking water. Okay, but I do hope you guys did manage to get a bite to eat, because we do have to, be together online for at least up until 12 o'clock, right? Okay, so let's see. All right, so majority at least had a drink of water. Okay, next. Have you ever played any of these games? And if you have, indicate the frequency. So how often have you played any of the following games? Board games, video, computer, online games, role-playing games, mobile phone games, like once upon a time, Candy Crush was very popular, competitive sports. Anyone? Okay, let's see. I want to see the never as well as the games that, let's see, board games. Okay, about 2.6. Video games, okay, 2.5, 2.6. Role-playing games, okay. Mobile games, I'm not surprised that mobile games is quite high. Competitive sports, okay, not too bad. Right, so I am concerned with the ones that answered never played, but never mind, I will try and help you guys be more comfortable. So basically the reason why I'm asking is just that if you've ever played any type of game before, you would have already been exposed to certain elements in gamification. So it's just how do we put those elements into our lessons later, right? Okay, so let's move on. Right. Do you guys prefer working from home, or would you rather be in the office? work from home or in the office? Or 50-50, okay. So let's see, working from home, yes, about 29.4%. No, okay, and then a lot of us want both, yeah. There's actually research that shows that the ability to work from home actually helps in work-life balance as well, okay. Would you rather be in the office? Okay, so I think most of us kind of like the ability to go to the campus and work as well as staying at home. Okay. Right. Next, what's the hardest part about teaching virtually for you? So this would require you to just key in some words. What was the hardest part, or what do you find most difficult when it comes to teaching online? Focus, right? That's also similar to our students as well. The learners also find it hard to focus, engaging with students, two-way communication, interaction with students. Like to talk alone. Okay. Time management, yeah. So let's see, engagement, so I hear you, creativity, yes. Students' participation, trying to do flipped classroom, okay. Personal space, yes. Distractions at home as well. You can't hear students. Students having connectivity problems, yes. Preparation, okay, yeah. So that's good. I hope I can help you out when it comes to creating or gamifying your lesson in terms of the preparation. So I have some things that maybe you can apply, right? Getting a response, okay, getting students' attention, all right? So I will try and address as much as I can with regards to gamification for this. So let's see, let's take a look at if this is the hardest, but what do you find is the easiest part for you or the most enjoyable part when it comes to teaching online? Because earlier on, more than 60% said that they like working from home and they like that flexibility to be able to work from home. So I'm assuming that that includes online teaching. So there has to be a reason why we also enjoy teaching online. Okay, less hectic, flexible, right? There's additional time because you're at home. You don't need to commute. Yes, I get response from students saying that they find it easier because they do not need to commute. Some students actually live quite far away. Yeah. No need to walk to class, and then house chores can be done. Yeah. You can take small breaks. Yes. Use the ability to smile more. Okay. I like the part that you can be anywhere meeting all the students at once. Lessons can still be delivered. Yeah. So it's more of how effective or how much the students can absorb or be part of that non-face-to-face interaction. Easy to share materials. Okay, yeah, all right. Home comfort. Okay, thank you. So there are challenges and there are difficulties, but at the same time, teaching online, teaching virtually can be actually quite enjoyable, right? And then last question, and this is basically for me. So I'm hoping that this question will help me in meeting your expectations, or at least try to cover as much as I can with the time given to me. So what do you hope to learn or gain by the end of this workshop? Okay. Fun to make your lectures or your lessons fun? All right. Okay. Variety. All right. Okay. To able to have variety in your teaching. Okay. To make your students happy. Right. Learn from others. Okay. Able to apply gamification. Okay, that's good. Make your lessons more interesting. Able to play, all right, fun. Okay, yes. So I'm very happy to see that your answers are, very much in tune to the fact that we want to make our delivery as best as possible for our students. So that is, we are moving to what we say student-centered, right? Increase student engagement. Yes, engagement. Make lessons more interesting, interactive, fun, enjoyable, have variety, right? So all this is actually what gamification can actually do, right? Being more interactive, preparation, but there are also other benefits to gamification as well. Okay, so all right, thank you so much for responding. So I'm going to stop this presentation, and we'll get back to this in a while, a bit later, about some of the tools that can be used for gamification. And one of them is something like AHA Slides. Some of you may know another similar tool called Mentimeter, right? So you can use this kind of tool, which is available online, to actually create a game as well. But we will look into that a bit later. So I'll stop this. So thank you everybody for participating, right? And now let me share the slides with you guys. I'm sorry, I have a whiteboard actually I need to share with everyone first. Right. I have a confession to make, and I just wanted to share this. So even though it has actually, it's not really associated with gamification, but some of you were talking about, sorry, the connection, right? Some of you were talking about trying to be different or be more creative when you're teaching online. So one of the things that I use now is actually using whiteboards instead of using slides to present. And my confession is that today is the first time in 1 year that I'm actually presenting online with slides again. So I've been using Microsoft Whiteboard a lot. So anyways, that's something that you can do to be different, right? Instead of presenting using slides, present using whiteboards. And I just wanted to go through very quickly, what were the questions, the questions that I was asking earlier, why did I ask those questions? And again, some tips to make your class more interesting. If you actually notice, questions 1 to 5 was just ice-breaking questions, and it was to put participants. So in this case, if you do ice-breaking, usually it's done in the beginning of the semester with new students. It will make the students feel be able to interact with you from the very beginning of class, even though your class is online. It breaks awkwardness. It helps to introduce people because you can ask any type of questions you want. And then it also is fun because it's getting the audience to interact with you. So that's what I was doing just now. And then question 6 is a bit more serious in tone. When I asked you, okay, let me see, what was question 6 again? I think it was about how you feel about working from home as opposed to going to the office, or 50-50. So from a student's point of view, so this is a survey that was done by Cambridge University Press. Now, there are a lot of surveys like this out there. A lot of data has been collected, but the percentage might be different. However, the results are very similar. So number one, on the student's perspective, the top three challenges that learners face is organizing their time, communication, and motivation. So out of the three, two have to do with motivation and communication, and gamification can actually address these two challenges. Okay. Another thing that is also quite interesting is the fact that in the future, our students are actually looking forward to having this flexibility, the ability to go and see or to learn face to face, but at the same time, they also want that option of online learning as well. So that this is not just in the time of COVID-19, because if you see this, whatever happens after this pandemic will affect how we teach and how we learn, right? And just to share, perhaps I'm not sure what is the direction of UIA, but in the university that I'm working for, they have already told us that post-pandemic, we are still going to do online classes. So I think about 40% of our lessons will be delivered online, and then 60% will be face-to-face. So we have to look into that. And there's another survey here that was done for university presidents. So that means the management, and they are also concerned about in terms of finance and in terms of retaining students. And online learning could be one of the solutions as well. Okay. Now, before I continue, is there any questions so far? You can, let me check the chat if anyone has any questions, or okay, first I need to figure out where do I look for chat. Sorry, I'm in my university we use Teams actually. So the last time I used okay, here, chat. Yeah, I'm looking at chat. Nothing? No questions yet? You can unmute or you can put it in the chat, but I need help from the UI admin if there's any question.
With your whiteboard.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I can't see the chat from my side because I'm trying to so sorry guys, I'm still figuring out the interface. I've clicked on chat, but I don't see any chat. So, all right, I'll just continue first. So question 7 and 8, when I was asking everybody about what are the challenges you face teaching from home, online learning, and then what are the benefits for virtual teaching? So it's very similar to the response that was asked to students as well. So this is a survey that I took from School Education Gateway .eu, and the challenges in virtual teaching for teachers is very similar to what you guys were also mentioning. Things like access to technology, pupils' access to technology, communication. But you look at one of the top three. So pupils' access to technology. So that one we need assistance to make. That one is not something that gamification can address. But the second highest is. Third highest actually is keeping all pupils motivated and engaged. So we do have that, and we are very concerned because when you're online, you're not even sure if there's a response, right, from students. Now, in my own personal experience, because I teach computer science, and I can tell you that majority of the computer science students, number one, they don't want to show their faces, so they switch off their videos. And then number two, when you ask a question, they will not unmute themselves and ask the question. There'll be only about 1 or 2 students who would do that. But they do ask questions. They are paying attention because my chat, the chat, meeting chat is consistently, having questions by the students. So you may think that just because the students are not showing themselves or they're not unmuting to ask a question, they're not engaged, but they are. So we have to also accept the fact that, use that chat function if that's what they feel comfortable with, right? because they're different type of learners. And then, so for my students, the computer science students, that's what they like. They like to use the chat feature, and it shows that they are paying attention, and they are actually communicating with you. So and then you can see a difference in the different types of students as well. I do teach business students as well, and they are a bit more interactive, but it doesn't mean that they are not engaged with us, right? Just use whatever technologies we can. And then benefits of virtual teaching. So same thing, the same response that all of you gave as well, like ease of use, flexibility, more access to materials. There is the ability to experiment. So I think that's what we need to also look into, the fact that we are able to use so many things to make our lessons more interesting. I'll just share with you that the minute I switched from presenting slides, right, to using a whiteboard, I had students' feedback. So at the end of the semester, we have the student survey, right? I have students' feedback telling me that, please, miss, don't use slides anymore. They're like, please use the whiteboard. They find it more interesting. And the thing about whiteboards is that you can actually save it as a PDF file, image file, and then the students can review. And then my final question was, how can gamification, I mean, when I asked you, what do you want to get from this this workshop this morning, is that how can gamification help you as an online educator? So the main, we saw that, engagement, motivation, those are the main benefits of gamification, but it also can lead to other more important things like instant feedback. You can get instant feedback by using gamification. There's a better learning experience because you are allowing different types of learners to be able to interact with you, and the learning environment becomes better as well. I think one of the things that I've realized while applying gamification into my lessons is that the students feel that you are more approachable. The students feel that, even to a certain extent, that you are more relatable as well. So I noticed a big difference in terms of prior to teaching online, whereby I would tell students, face to face, okay, if you have any questions, come and see me. If you have any questions, come and make an appointment to see me. And I hardly get students who would actually come and talk to me face to face. But online, and when I applied gamification, I get a lot of requests to have separate meetings with them online. Sometimes those who are a bit more shy, they will say that, okay, can I chat with you for a while? I need some help, So I find it actually, they are actually reaching out to me more than face to face. So that's some of the other benefits of gamification, right? So yeah, one of the tips I can tell you, if you're just looking at creativity, maybe you're not ready yet to apply gamification, is to use whiteboards. So here are some examples of the other whiteboards I have. And I've used whiteboards for tutorials, labs as well, and as well as my lectures. And they look like very odd looking mind maps. So just to share with you, you could use whiteboards to make your lessons a bit more different, right? Okay, so any questions before we actually start looking into how to engage using gamification?
There is one question from
Okay.
Dr. Yusuf. What is your opinion about pre-recorded videos?
Oh, pre-recorded videos. We are actually expected to also, sorry, just let me, okay, sorry. We are at my institution here, we are actually required, not expected, required to record all our online lessons, or all our videos. I know a few of my colleagues have actually done pre-recorded videos as well. My personal view is that, and it has changed actually. In the beginning, I wasn't really comfortable with the concept of pre-recording videos, but we do have to realize that there is still that issue of connectivity, and then I'm pretty sure it's the same thing with UIA. We have international students here as well, and some of them want to continue their education. They don't want to put it on hold, but how would they be able to follow the lessons if there's nothing pre-recorded for them? So for me, if the idea behind pre-recorded videos is to assist the students, then I'm all for it. But I've never actually done like a pre-recording and then have it shown. What we do is we do the live lessons, and then everything is recorded, and then we upload the videos to the students. So for those who missed or need to revise, they can just go through the video again. And I did find it quite useful. I'll give an example that I recorded one of the recordings from my previous semester, uploaded and then used as review for students in the previous semester. But what happened was, and this just happened yesterday, the technical issues that can occur, like connecting from home, and the video that was recorded wasn't good. So I had a backup video that the students could look into, because the live class was affected somehow. So once upon a time, I wasn't really into this pre-recorded video, but I think now I accept that it's probably something that should also be there. But again, it depends on, I think, the content, and depends on what the video is actually meant for. So for us, it's more of for the students to look back at a lesson that they may have missed, or more of a revision. Okay. Any other questions? Any other questions?
I think that's it for now.
All right. Okay. Do let me know when a break is needed as well. Right. Okay. Okay. So what we actually did. So today's workshop is actually covering these 5 areas, but we've actually done the warm up already. Now I just want to talk a little bit about number 2, introduction to gamification. But then we're actually going to do 2, 3, and 4 at the same time. So we're not actually going one by one. So I'll talk about, just give a bit of a background on how student engagement, gamification can help in student engagement, and the basics of gamification, and the types of learning environment you can apply gamification to. And then I'm actually going to show some to everybody. And then what I do is, how do I plan for my lessons is I basically use what is used in computer forensics, which is when we want to find evidence, we have to address the 5 W's and 1 H questions, right? So, okay, let me start. Right, so student engagement. When we talk about student engagement, we are referring to meaningful student involvement throughout that learning experience, okay, that learning environment. And student engagement usually deals with 3 types of engagement: behavioral, emotional, and cognitive. Behavioral engagement refers to participation. I mean, it's evidenced by how much the student participates. So are they positive in the participation of the class? Are they involved in doing the task? Are they concentrating? Are they asking questions? That's behavioral engagement. Emotional engagement has to do with how connected are the students to their lecturers and teachers. as well as their peers, and how these emotional ties will influence their willingness to do work or to take part. Okay, and it's the hope that we give positive, we get a positive response from them. So happiness, interest, okay, not bored. And emotional engagement also deals with the part that the students feel like they are part of the school as well. So they feel like they have they belong to the school, right? And it affects the flow. How the more happy the student is, or the more involved the student is in your activity, they will lose that sense of time and space, and they will feel like, oh, okay, wow, the lesson is already finished. That sort of reaction from the students. And then cognitive engagement is the willingness of the student to exert extra effort to learn on their own. So it's like self-regulation, a desire to go beyond requirements, a preference for challenge. So that's important to know, a preference for challenge, because gamification can do that. It can push the student to challenge themselves, right? So that's basically what student engagement is. Now, gamification, the most basic definition is you're using gaming elements, okay, or game design and mechanics to enhance non-game context. So in other words, if we apply gamification to education, it means that we're adding some sort of game mechanics or elements into that non-game environment, like our lessons. So it could be a lecture, it could be a tutorial, it could be a lab, it could be your quizzes, and even your coursework. So I've actually applied gamification in one of my assignments as well. So the idea behind that is we use these gamification elements to help increase participation, engagement, improve motivation, and then influence the behavior of our students. There are actually a lot of gamification elements, but the two most common ones that we look at when we're trying to gamify content or our lessons is game mechanics and game dynamics. Now, they are related. So like the diagram shows here, they are related, but they're actually two different things. So game mechanics refers to the elements or mechanisms that help you move the game forward or the simulation forward. So it's a way to encourage a certain behavior or encourage them to a certain behavior by giving some sort of reward, right? This game mechanics is actually the elements that help gamify that non-game environment. So it's, for example, giving points. So you're running a gamification, your lesson, you give points. You have levels that they have to achieve, starting from an easy level and they have to progress to a higher level. You give them some sort of challenge. For example, a scavenger hunt or solving missions. And then you have a leaderboard that actually shows who's leading that particular activity. You can also put things like have the ability for them to share, right? So that is game mechanics. Game dynamics is basically what the player, or in this case, the student, desires to achieve. So these are things like getting some sort of reward. So if you have points, you can say that the person with the most points gets a particular reward. Levels have to do with students who want to reach a particular status. Challenges is what the student wants is to achieve something, and so forth. So these are the two main elements in gamification that we would apply to our lessons, right? That would make the class or the lesson more engaging and more interesting, and also motivate the students to actually participate and be involved in that game. And then the last part, types of learning environments. So I'm just going to briefly talk about this because we know this quite well already. types of learning environment refers to, in this case, how we deliver our material or teaching and learning. And we can have that face-to-face learning, we can have the fully online learning, like what most of us are going through now, and we can have a bit of both, blended learning. So I mentioned earlier that for my organization, we are going to move into a blended learning environment, whereby the new norm or post-pandemic, we're still going to offer online learning for our students. So you can apply gamification in either three of this. You can apply face-to-face, blended learning, and online as well. Okay, so what I want for my personal objective at the end of this workshop is to be able to show and share with everyone that with proper planning and with the use of easily available tools, gamifying your online class or your online lesson is not as difficult or time-consuming as what we would have expected. Okay, so that's my hope. I'll give you some examples and then the online tools that are already readily available there for you to use. And you'll see that it's not really as difficult as some of us perceive. Okay, so any questions up to this point? It's just an introduction. Everybody okay? Everyone okay?
Yes, okay.
All right, thanks. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I will let you guys actually play a simple game. So I hope there are those who paid attention, because the game is actually on today's topic, which is gamification. Right, so perhaps we play this one game first and then maybe then give you guys a short break. Okay, so just hang on. Now the tool that I'm using for this is called Educa Play. So where you have to go is here. Let me show you the link. You have to go to game.educaplay.com and you have to key in the PIN number of my game. So let me create a challenge first. So I'm showing you on the perspective of the lecturer as well. So of course, all these online tools you have to register, but for Educa Play, in this case, this is a free account actually. This is my free account. So you can see that you can have free or get premium. And I have this game that I want to show you guys called Gamification Mechanics. Now, I need to create a challenge first. Or maybe it's already created. I just need to get the link. So let me just hang on. So first go to educaplay.com, and then once I create the challenge, you can just key in the pin, game pin. All right. So the game pin is 101810. So this is my view as the lecturer. And then you just key in the game pin. So the game pin is 101810. And then you just click enter. Then of course the free version, the issue is that there are ads at the bottom, right? So you got to just wait until the ads finish, right? So I repeat again, you need to go to game.educaplay.com and then key in the PIN number, which is this, 101810. So before anyone starts, let me just explain what this game I created is. It's called an image map. So what I did was I had images, okay, images, in this case, gamification mechanics symbols, right? And then I put them into one image. So you can use Paint to do that. So you have, or you can use even, I used a whiteboard to do that. So I put all the images that I wanted onto a whiteboard, and I saved that whiteboard as a image file, and then just resize that image in Microsoft Paint, and then uploaded it to EducaPlay, and each of the image in that one large image map is basically telling the participant or the student to label what is that image representing. Okay, so if you guys are already in, so let me just explain again. You need to go to game.educaplay.com and then key in the pin 101810. Okay, so you just need to key in 101810, that code here. Okay, so what happens is the student will enter the screen, and then it says here the topic. So gamification mechanics is the topic of this challenge, and match the correct gamification mechanic to its respective icon. So let's say if you're ready, you can click on start. So when you start, and it says you have only 2 tries, which means you only have the ability to make 2 mistakes. So you'll see that the word comes out, quest and mission, which icon represents quest or mission. So let's say, okay, this one represents quest, mission. And then next, narrative or storyline. So let's say it's represented by a book, but let's say I make a mistake. So accidentally or purposely, I don't know the answer, and I click here, and then what happens? My number of tries reduces to 1, sorry, from 2 to 1. Then it says narrative storyline, so it's this one. Okay, so and then you see on the right hand side, Ash scored 100%. Okay, so she's in the lead right now. So what this challenge does is it creates a leaderboard, and the person who's number 1 is the one who is fastest, got all correct and fastest. So next one is progress. I think this is progress. So you click there. Next is points. This would represent points. Badges would be this, I think. Time limit, I guess it's the hourglass. And then levels, okay. I think this is levels, yeah. And then finally a leaderboard, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then done. All right, so please ignore that of course, because I'm actually the one that created it. But you see that it tells the person, okay, what position, what's your score, what's your position, and then the students you can actually, I have had requests from students that say, Miss, can you reopen? I'd like to attempt again. So that actually shows the student wants to try again and improve. So what you see here is that EducaPlay also puts in one game mechanic as well, which is leaderboard, right? It's showing a leaderboard there. So it's very easy to set up. And like I said, this is a free account. So, and it's very quick. That's why I was saying that the feedback is immediate. You can see you can use that leaderboard to be the feedback. So I've been dropped to number 11 now because there are others who are faster and quicker than me, right? So that's an example of EducaPlay. So this is one tool that's very easy to set up. Perhaps I can demonstrate. I think there's something wrong with the cable. Sorry, guys.
Can I ask questions?
Sure. Yes. Yes, please.
By using this EducaPlay, the question we post. Can we post the question within the game, or we have to means talk to the student about the question?
Oh, no need. Because in this workshop, I want to also show you how to use EducaPlay. But what I usually do is that would be, the instructions, what you write here before they start. Make sure that the instructions are very clear, and then they can start and they start playing on their own. So, but you can do both ways, because later on I'll show you another tool that I've used whereby sometimes you may need that the lecturer to speak. It's sort of like in games, like you're the narrator or you're the commentator. So sometimes that helps. But for EducaPlay, I just tell the students, okay, I'm giving you 5-10 minutes. to try the quiz. And usually what I do is I give a lesson on a topic, and then before break I tell them, okay, try this out, so that I want to see how much you remembered. You can use that for Educa Play. But of course, being free, what you notice is it's not very exciting, right? Another tool I use has music playing, and then the lecturer can actually have the leaderboard. You can actually see the students racing against each other, so that sort of thing, and that actually is more visual and how do you say, makes the students get more excited. But this one I use basically for like I finish a topic and I just want to see if they understand the key points of the topic, right? So I'll show you the screen again. So I just want to show everyone, okay, right? So it's pretty simple to play, and it's actually not that difficult to set up as well. So, and like I said, this is a free account. One thing good about, I have not seen this with any other online gamification tool. Educa Play has no limit to the number of participants. The free account, I mean. Okay, sorry. I really need to, I think I need to change the HDMI cable.
Can I ask further questions?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, the thing is, when a student enter and they do the game, let's say, and they return back, for example, they try to log out and log in again, so they can redo again and again, right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
But
so it's
yeah,
not
okay,
like a quiz or something. It's just a practice, right?
Correct, yeah. So I was just about to explain the advantage and disadvantage of Educa Play. So yeah, very good point there. So that's why I said I use Educa Play more of like, okay, did you get what I just explained earlier about the topic? Just a very quick feedback sort of thing. So I use this Educa Play for feedback. But because it's free, and like I said, the main advantage of Educa Play is there's no limit to the number of participants. So if you have a big class, everybody can play without you having to move up to that premium edition, okay, premium edition. But someone mentioned about, I can't stop the student from continuing to play and things like that. So because it's free, you don't have that additional option of like stopping the quiz or putting a time limit, right? Let's say I want you to do this by a certain date. You can't do that with Educa Play. But this is a very good tool to use as a starting point if you've never done gamification before, right? So let me just show you the kind of activities you can do with Educa Play. So you can have riddles, you can create fill in the blank games, crossword puzzles, dialogue, dictation. So this is used in language as well. Unscrambling letters, unscrambling words, matching. So I've done matching. Then what I did with you guys is called image map, matching columns. You have the typical quiz as well. And it's very easy to set up. So for example, just now I did this one, map quiz, right? So let's say I want to create a map quiz. I just put a title. So let's say user security, and then the description here can be the instructions. So you can actually just type the instructions that you want the student to do. And then you just click next. Oh, all right, you have to select the knowledge area. So for some reason, computer science is not there. I just usually put, thought there was others somewhere. Oh, okay, under technology, right there. And then just put the audience age, 20 plus or 18 plus in the next. Right, and then you just need to add the image map. So this is what I was saying. I had to first put all the images into one whiteboard and then save that whiteboard as an image. So you just put that in. So choose a file and then just put in. So which is the one that I used. I think I have it under.
Madam,
Yeah.
if you are not, let's say for me, I'm not used to whiteboard. So lots of
Alright.
my material in within slides. Can I have?
Okay.
Can I use the slide as well to
Yes.
use here?
Yes, because you can save what I shortcut a lot. I just screenshot and then I just cut the size. So yes, you can use a PowerPoint slide to put all your images, right? And then you just screenshot and then just cut out that one screenshot. So exactly. I think it's the same thing. If I didn't move to whiteboards, I would have been doing the same thing with my slides. Yes. So I forgot which one. Well, okay, let's say I put this icon set, which is a huge set of icons for gamification. And then you just set. And then what you do next is, oops, there's an error. I think there's connection issue. Right. I think there's a connection issue, or maybe they don't allow that kind of. Let's see, where was it just now? I wanted to put this. Okay, so then the image map is in, and then what you need to do is you just need to add your answers. Okay, so what you see is, for example, let's say I want this to be chance. Okay, let's say the dice is chance. So I can type chance. And then I just need to move this position to that image. Okay. And then say send. So it has the first image there. So it's very easy. And then you just click to add another answer. So let's say, for example, I want to show level, and maybe the level is based on this arrow to say level. So then just click send. And then you keep doing that until you're done. And then what you have to do is just add some tags. I think you need to add 3 minimum tags. And then when you're done, you can already publish your activity. So it has a meter at the side to tell you that whether you're done or not. If everything is done, then you can actually publish. So for example, I just put test, okay, and then add, okay, right, and then they want at least 2. I'm just putting any keywords for now, just to show you, right? And then maybe a workshop, something like that. Then just add. Okay, so if it doesn't allow you to publish, that means you need to add more answers. So maybe you need to add one more answer inside. So let's take a look at the symbols. Okay, there's maybe a target, right? So the symbol of a target here. So you can do this for your subject that requires students to identify items, right? So once publish is green, that means you're ready. So minimum, you need to have 3 images. Okay, so you're done, right? So it's very quick, very easy. If you're having problems understanding the instructions, Educa Play has a tutorial right on top. It's a video that shows you what you're supposed to do step by step. So it's very, very easy. So like I said, this is a really good starting point for anyone who has not ever done gamification before, because it's very easy to do. It's free. There's no limit to the number of student participants. However, the only thing you get is that leaderboard, right? There's no actual report. Now, there's another tool that even has statistics. For example, telling you that, okay, majority of the students couldn't answer this question. Majority of students took the longest to answer this question. So that's statistics that will help you, right? Make your lessons better. So this is something quick, easy. Like I said, the instant feedback. And for those who, want to try something very quickly, okay? So any questions about the first example?
Madam,
Yes.
the game that we already created
Mhm.
can be saved and then we can play it again and again. Is there any
Correct, yeah.
expiry date?
So far, no, no expiry date.
I mean, it's like quizzes, is it?
The only difference is that for quizzes, depending on your package that you take, right, the reports are there forever. If you look at Educa Play, the reports for the free account only last up to 3 months, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So after 3 months, the reports will disappear unless you get the premium version. So for me, I just do this to try and engage if the students understand certain concepts. Quizzes is actually the next example that I wanted to show because Quizzes has very good reports. Now I know us being academicians, we are also required to do research, right? So the reports actually help in creating research papers with regard to gamification as well. So for Educa Play, it's for something quick, something easy, and a very good place for you to start if you've never done before. Quizzes is a whole lot better because you have a lot of reports, it's more interactive. But like I said, I want to show what's the easiest you can do, and then we progress a bit further to other things that can be done. And if we have the time, I'll actually share how I incorporated gamification into my assignment. And it's actually part of a very big research that I'm doing as well. But for now, just some hands-on things that you guys can do very quickly. So any questions about EduCafe? Everybody's okay with EduCafe? So my moderator, is it time for them to have a break? Short break, maybe? And then we can look into the next example, which is actually going to be quizzes.
Okay, boleh. We can have a break, then we come back at 10:30. Okay.
Okay, all right, sure. So I'll see you guys back at 10:30. Okay, so welcome back. All right. Like I said, I will share how I plan my gamification activities, and this is not something that I got from some research or anything. It's more of what was practical for me. So for me, it was answering those 5 W's and 1 H questions. And then that helped me in my planning because by answering all these questions, I was able to decide the last one here, which is the how, and then helped me a lot in my preparation. So what are the 5 W's and 1 H? So of course, the first is who. You need to know your audience very well. So when I say who, it's not just a simple question answered like, oh, my students. It should be very specific. The students' level of study, for example, you will notice that first-year students or pre-university students, as opposed to final year students, what kind of game dynamics and game mechanics you use might be different. So when you say who, think about the student's level of study, the year of study, and then for online especially, are there a mixture of cohorts? Because I teach some elective subjects, right? So sometimes I have students in their first year joined together with first year, let's say first year, third sem, joined with students in the second year, first sem. So that's very important to know. Are they all the same cohort or are they mixed cohort? And then of course, are they a mixture of students? So like I said, for lecturers who are teaching the MPU subjects, right, you have a mixture of students from different disciplines. So you need to know that target, your audience is very important because once you know, then you know what type of game dynamics and game mechanics to use. And like I said, the level in general, but it's not, it's different for the different groups of students, but in general, my third year students, they want something a bit more challenging, so they prefer quests or missions rather than awarding them badges, right? They're not really into that. They're not really into like, oh, I get the most points. They're more into like, can I solve this this challenging mission, that sort of thing. So it's very important to know the audience who. So the next is what do you want to gamify? So this over here is what. What do you want to gamify? Do you just want to gamify a particular topic? So like what I did just now with EducaPlay. So I would deliver a topic, and then before giving the students a break, okay, I want to know how much you could retain that information, right, that I just delivered to you. So that's topic. Or do you want to gamify a whole chapter? Or I have colleagues who are attempting to gamify even a whole course. But of course, you have to look at the discipline as well. So I know one of my colleagues trying to gamify the entrepreneurship course. So it depends on the kind of course that you can actually apply gamification to the whole course even. And then, so this is what is very important to know. What is it that you want to gamify in terms of your subject per se? So once you do that, then you have to also question, or you can even ask this before you do the what. You can ask the why as well. Why do you want to gamify in the first place? For me, I look at the students' evaluation of the lessons a lot. That's always been my starting point. So I would see their students' feedback, and I see students commenting like, oh, so and so topic, it's really dry. You know, Miss Aidora just delivers it in a lecture style, but it's really dry. I can't really relate to it. Or you find there's a gap, right? So some of us, I have a colleague who does gamification because he found that the students didn't really want to reach out to him. So the gap was between him and the students. That had to do, in his case, it was due to the age difference. So he needed to, do stuff that kids now like, that sort of thing. But in most cases, I've seen a lot of my colleagues are doing it to just not make the content too dry or seem too boring. Or in some cases, you can even do gamification to add depth. Now, what does that mean? Like I said, if I have time later, I'll share what I'm actually doing currently. I teach a subject called Ethical Hacking and Countermeasures. That's a computer security subject. And some of the labs that we do are sort of like a game on its own. It's like solving missions. So we gamified certain aspects so that it added depth to that subject itself, meaning to say that they're already doing the missions without realizing it. So why not gamify it so they can actually really enjoy the experience, that sort of thing. So that is the why. And then where. So this is pretty easy now. But the first time I actually shared this plan with other lecturers, there were issues because can you do gamification in the classroom? Can you do gamification in a blended environment? Can you do gamification online? So of course we know that now. So basically you need to decide, is your gamification fully online, or is it blended or in class? Now, from my experience, among the three, the most preparation is needed for gamification in a blended learning environment. It's the one that you have to prepare the most because the game carries online as well as face-to-face. So there's a lot more preparation to do for that. But you have to also think about that as in the location. Or do you want to do it fully online, in class, blended? And from my experience, I have done for all the face-to-face blended as well as online. And then again, what type of assessment do you want to apply it to? Your lecture, your tutorial, your lab, your assignment? And like I said, we have, myself and my other colleagues, we have even applied gamification to a whole assignment or even parts of the assignment as well. And the third one is when, so the timing. Now, if you're going to do something like what we did earlier with Educa Play, so the timing is really short. It's more of the learning curve of how fast you can pick up on how to create your game on Educa Play platform. That's basically it, right? So once you're familiar with the platform, it takes 10, 20 minutes to finish. Because you guys are the content experts. You know the content. You just need to put that content in a different way. That's all. So timing. If you're doing something short, it's going to take less preparation to do. There's a difference here. Why did I put timing and duration? Because like I said, if you're going to do something a bit more complicated, so for example, I have that missions game that missions activity that I have with for my ethical hacking class. It actually covers 5 weeks. It actually covers 5 weeks. So the duration is not, most of the gamification that we see is within that class itself, or like a quiz that's 10, 15, 20 minutes, right? But for me, I did something where the students have to solve a mission every week for 5 weeks, up to 5 weeks. So that's, the more you do and the longer the duration, the more preparation. So yeah, that's what you need to also know. And finally, when you know all that, you can do the how. Now, earlier I mentioned that if you're just doing something like using an online tool like quizzes or Educa Play, pretty much you just need to decide what game dynamics and game mechanics you want to use. But if you're doing something a little bit more advanced, or a little bit more, that needs a little bit more time, like I said, if you're trying to do quests or missions, then you realize that you need to create a story. So this is, you have to be creative, create it like a storyline sort of thing. And this will help the students get engaged. So you can't just say, okay, this week, this is your mission. You have to create that atmosphere that the students are embarking on this journey. So that takes a bit more time to prepare. Again, later on, if I forget, please do remind me. I'll show you some examples as well. And then from there, you can then decide the tools to use. So for example, can you do this by just using Educa Play? Or can you do this by using quizzes, Kahoot, Quizlet? There's so many tools out there. And of course, when you look at tools as well, think about what kind of access you have. So for example, do you have a free account only, or is the university actually do you have a university account for that? So usually if there's an education account, it will cater to more students, right? So you need to look into that as well. So later on when I show quizzes, the free account is only limited to 50 students, for example. You have to be a premium user in order to accommodate more students. So you need to look into that as well. But again, if I forget, please remind me later. You can even create games just by using PowerPoint slides. I have created a bingo game. Actually, it's called Lord of the Rings Bingo. It's just, so you have to change the name a bit so that the students know or get excited. But I've used purely PowerPoint slides to run that gamification lesson. And again, if I forget, please remind me so I can give you the link. And this is the part that I wanted to share with everybody. You don't have to do this from scratch. One thing I get a lot from my colleagues is, oh, it takes so much time. I have to do everything from the beginning. Actually, no, there are actually a lot of free templates out there. I can even share my bingo one. And I actually did share with a few other colleagues of mine, not even in this university, other universities as well. And all they do is just they edit the content for their content, and that's it. So there are a lot of templates out there you can use, and that will greatly reduce the time you need to actually create these lessons, gamified lessons. Okay, so up to this stage, any questions?
No.
All right. So again, this is how I plan. You guys might have your own preferred way to plan, but for me, this has worked quite well for me because it's very quick, it's very fast. I can just, when I have this picture here, I can actually literally take out a piece of paper and then just write and then just figure it out. One thing though is I did this training for new staff, new lecturers, and I'm talking about the fresh, totally new lecturers, and it's the lecturers that came in and didn't have experience in teaching. One thing I did tell them is always start small first, okay? Because once you are, I think one very important key aspect is you must know the content very well. Okay, you must know what you're teaching very well. If you're new to teaching, take it slow. Do things, do something that is small first. Don't do something very big first, because time and again, when I actually run these gamified lessons, you'll get questions. There'll be students who are actually asking very deep questions to you. Because like I said, not every single learner is the same type of learner. There are those who are pretty much very good at reflection and they'll ask you questions that the normal students won't. So it's good to take things one step at a time, right? For example, for me, I embarked on that mission kind of gamification thing. That took me, this is my 3rd year. The first year I did it face-to-face. And then I moved it to blended learning. And now this mission game this mission lesson that I created is fully online. So it takes time to evolve that something that is a bit more long-term, I would say, right? Because like I said, there's already a lot of educators out there using gamification within their assignments as well, okay? Right, so if there is no question, let's do that quizzes. So let me explain about quizzes. I think some of you have used quizzes as well, since someone mentioned it earlier. So, but I'll just tell you the benefits of quizzes. You can try one as well, and then let's see, and then you can see how I did the quizzes based on this planning. Okay, so just let me change the screen or share the screen with you guys. Okay, so for those who are very familiar with quizzes, this is a super account. Super account, the difference with the free account is that the free account only accommodates up to maximum 50 students. Super account accommodates to up to 200 students. But if so it depends on how many students you have for your online classes, and you can cater to that. Or like I said, your institution might actually have an education account anyways, right? So, but to me, 50 is quite a big number. You can even, if you don't have that ability to cater to more than 50, you can always use quizzes for tutorials or lab sessions, which are smaller, or you can break them into groups, okay? Now, as you can see, I've been using quizzes a lot for various type of subjects. But what I like about quizzes, so let's say, this is the one that I want you guys to try, which is gamification. But notice that quizzes supports both synchronous and asynchronous learning. So you can, instructor-led sessions are synchronous, so you can be there while the students are attempting the quiz, or you can assign it as homework as well. So that means they do it in their own time, or you specify, actually when you assign it as a homework, you have to actually specify the deadline for them to answer. So you can assign live or assign as a homework. And then another thing is under the synchronous based learning, so start a live quiz, you have 2 types, the classic method and the instructor paced. The classic method is the one similar to like just now, EducaPlay, whereby the students are progressing at their own pace, However, you have to act like a commentator. So while they are attempting, you can actually see the students' progress, who is answering, who got 3 questions in a row correct, and then, oh no, someone's got it wrong, and things like that. So you have to actually be like a commentator. You have to actually like, like a sports caster, that sort of thing, to make it interesting. But if you're not comfortable with that, you can do what is called an instructor-paced version. So you wait. So let's say you have a small group, let's say 25 or less students, you can actually pace it. For example, let the students answer one by one, like what you did with AHA slides just now. So you can actually pace it as well. So what I want to do for this is I'm going to start a live quiz, and you're going to do it the classic way. Okay, so classic, and then you notice that you can put students in teams as well, and you can have classic or test mode. So this is more serious kind of environment. And then you can tell how many times the student needs to participate. So earlier on, there was a question that said, can we control the number of times the student participates? So yes, you can actually with quizzes. Name factory. So this I always turn on because I want to make sure the participants, I want the participants to use nicknames. So sometimes it's good. That's another game mechanic where you allow the student to choose an icon or an image or an avatar to represent them. It makes it more fun. But if you don't, then they can also just put their own names. Show answer during activity. Usually, if you're doing the classic mode, it's best to not show the answers during the activity, but you can. You have the option of on, validate only. Validate means that if the person is correct or not. Okay. Show answers after, so you can have that. Usually we do that. Okay. Adaptive learning, right? This is only for super account. It has the ability, quizzes has the ability to change the questioning a bit for you. So, but I tried it and it's still not good. I mean, grammar-wise, there are still issues. So this is the part where a lot of the gamification mechanics are there. Power up. Okay, power up is a game mechanic on its own. So it means that you allow students to try and get bonus points. And then you can show the leaderboard again to get the students excited, feel challenged, and want to try and when they get the next question, they want to do better and things like that. And I like this as well, redemption questions. So I like to turn this on as well. So redemption questions are allowing the student to try and answer a question that they got wrong earlier. So they have a second chance. But you should switch this off if you actually want to see live feedback result, instant feedback result of the first time trying it. Okay, but redemption questions actually make the students feel like, less upset when they get it wrong, because they're, oh, okay, I have a second attempt that I can use to answer. So for fun, I'm just going to put this. And then this one, show memes, show funny pictures after each question. It's actually not really necessary, but my students seem to like it, because it's like it takes off the seriousness at times as well. But if you want them to be more focused, more serious, you can remove the memes. And then you can choose the kind of memes. So with the free account, it only has one type, which is selected. With the super account, you can choose other memes, right, as well. But I'll just go with the basic selected randomized one, right? So then you just continue. Okay. And then this pops up for the students. So for those who want to try it out, so just click on join my quiz. Go to joinmyquiz.com and then enter the join code right? So this is the lecturer's view. So if I wanted to, I would have to go to joinmyquiz.com, okay, and enter the code 180046. Okay, so this is for the student's view. Okay, so I hope, right, nobody's joining in yet. Can I have some participants, please? Okay, one participant is there. So this is the student's view. Right. Don't worry, the topic is gamification. So whatever we were discussing earlier is part of the questions. After this demonstration, I will also tell you another very good thing about quizzes that would really help lecturers as well. Okay, I'll try and get about maybe 10 to 12 of you, and then I'll start. Okay, so then you notice you are assigned an avatar. So this is another feature of gamification. The image next to you, that's known as an avatar. So it's just letting the students take on a character or an icon. Okay, so I think I have quite a few here now. Right, if you're not able to join, don't worry, because you can also see this, how it works. So okay, let me start. Okay, any more? Is there any more? Okay, if you're not able to join, it's okay. You can actually see how it works. Okay, so I'll click on start now. Okay, so you notice that quizzes has music, so it's more lively. Okay, so with maybe just the volume a bit. Okay, while you guys are playing, let me just reduce the volume. Okay, so this is what I was saying. If you're running this in an actual class, you as the instructor, you have to be sort of like a game commentator. So you start saying, okay, come on, Iqbal, you can do it. You're number 2 now. Wow, KMN is on fire, has 3 answers in a row. So does Azia. You start, you have to be commentating, and you have to give some motivation to the students. And then what I like to do also is I look at those somewhere below. I say, come on guys, come on Daniel, come on Siti, you can do it, right? So this is what is called as the speed is based on the user. So one of the things that makes this mode very good for the learner is that when you show this to them, they're like, oh, okay, I want to beat my friend. I want to try and get the next question correct. But it's just that you have to be very animated. So when this is going on, you have to actually get involved as well. So, and then if you look at the top, it says 60% accuracy for answers. I also commentate on that. I'll say, only 60%? Come on guys, you can do better than that. Come on, let's try and get it to 80%, right? So also encourage them. And then if you look here, you have questions as well. So it actually tells you which questions students are having problems with. Okay, and then later on, when everybody finishes, you can actually see their statistics as well. Some are about to finish. Okay, so in this kind of mode, you have to be very interactive. My suggestion though is if there's a very large group of students, this would be the preferred mode, because it kind of like pushes the students to compete, right? So let's just let everybody finish, and then I'll continue with some other features of quizzes. And the other mode, the instructor-led mode. I'm actually worried because the accuracy is not getting more than 60% myself. That means the content, I wasn't successful in delivering the content earlier. If you feel that your students might be discouraged because you see the ranking, right? You can click on show only top 5, right? So the rest who are not in the top 5, because some students, they might get discouraged if they see that their rank is somewhere lower. So sometimes I do that as well. I just put show only top 5 while I'm doing the class, but quizzes will record every single student that is taking part. Okay, so you can use this as well, just to not let students be discouraged if they see that they're not in the top 10, things like that. So all I need to do is just make sure that there's about, and then you see here 17 out of 22 done, so you know that there are another 5 that are still not finished yet. Okay, so and this is the part where you're using the game mechanics, which is points, right? So over here, the students are aiming to get the highest points, and this is a leaderboard as well. So there's another 4. And of course, I do get students who complain, Miss, I don't like the music, so you can always switch it off. You can change the themes, but themes can only change if you are not a free user. The free user account, you have to get the default theme. So I do not want to show the features of the super account because you may be using only the free account. So another 2, and then I'll show you some other very good features about quizzes. You can see who hasn't finished yet, or is there someone who started and didn't finish? Okay, if you feel that because this is online, right? There could be some connection issue from the student's end, and I have had this before. Just close the music for a while. I've had this issue before where some students, I'm waiting for them to finish, and then actually they got disconnected or something wrong with their connection. So what they do is they let me know on the team chat, for example, because I use MS Teams, so Zoom also has the chat feature, right? They let me know, Miss, I'm actually done, but it's not reflected in my screen. So then you can just end that activity. Okay, so sometimes that happens. So if, like in this case, maybe the other 2 participants, there was some sort of emergency and they're not able to finish, or they're not able to continue, or something wrong with their connection, you can just basically end that particular quiz. So I'll do that now. Okay. And then are you sure you want to end? So I'll just say end. Okay. And then there's actually music, but just now I muted the music. So it shows you this, who was the first, second, third. So students can see that as well. And then here's the part that I like, quiz highlights. So it tells you the class answered 34% of the questions correctly. The toughest question was question number 6. It was answered incorrectly by 20 out of the 22 players. So, when you have the screen, you can do a quick review straight away with your students. So if you see a question, oh my goodness, everybody got it wrong. Okay, so you can immediately address that particular question. It could be that they didn't understand the question, or they got some concept mixed up or something. So you can address it immediately. It tells you the longest question, so maybe this one will help you. Maybe next time you have to shorten the sentence. Okay. Interesting fact, 3 questions had an accuracy of less than 40%. So it says time to investigate. So maybe I didn't get things clearly out there. Okay, and then of course it says here email to parents, but you don't actually have to email to parents. You can actually email to your students if you want them to see their own results, right? Another feature as well is you can download the results, and then you can see the questions statistics. So the best part is, remember, like just now, if there was a question that majority got it wrong and you wanted to discuss, you can go straight to that question and then address, ask the students, okay, why did you get this wrong? Okay, and then for participants, did you see that feature where you can redeem? I switched it on just now, right? So they give you like a power up badge, right? Saying that, okay, you can use this badge to redeem a question that you didn't answer or you got it wrong earlier. So again, that's an element of gamification there as well. Then this is the part where students say, Miss, can I try again? So you can always play again, or you can assign as practice, meaning to say that, okay, time's up, or class, I know you want to try again, but I'll assign it as a practice or assign it as assignment later for you to try again. And then you can click the review questions and go through one by one with the students as well. Okay, so very, very good online tool. But again, any advanced features, you will need to pay for the features that are advanced. Okay. Now, here is the main benefit of quizzes for me. I can tell you that maybe out of I think there were 10 questions, right? Out of the 10 questions, I think I only added 4 questions. The other 6 were already there in quizzes itself. So quizzes has a very good database of quizzes already, somebody else already created. So you can actually take theirs and then duplicate that quiz set and then make changes. So you don't have to create a quiz from scratch. Now I can honestly tell you, my library here, I think only the first one I created when I first looked into quizzes. So the first one I created, all the questions were all mine, but then you can actually do a search. So for example, I think I have a colleague in engineering who teaches something called heat transfer. Sorry, I'm not sorry, that's my library. Sorry, click on Explore. Okay, so Explore is where you have people who have a lot of, who have already created their own quizzes. Heat transfer. And then there you go. There's a lot of results. You can then choose, and the levels as well. Take a look at the levels. They will see if there's any levels for university and so forth. And you can actually filter to a particular grade if you want high school. Usually I filter from high school onwards, because sometimes those who created the quizzes, they put it from high school and above, for example. So they don't actually put it for like university. You can also filter for university, but usually I get this, it says 0 results found, because they like to put the minimal level. So I always search for high school, and then you realize that they see like high school until university, for example. Okay. So yeah, one very good thing about quizzes is there's a lot of the heat transfer, conduction, convection, radiation. I have no idea what this is, but those of you might know, right? And of course, I filtered for all, so it's quizzes, but there's also lessons. So you can also do like AHA slides earlier. You can also create lessons. So not necessarily all, the only thing that quizzes can do is create quizzes or game, or, you know, like we did just now, the gamification game sort of thing. Okay, so yeah, There's a lot, especially in my line, computer science. I can search for, let's say, computer forensics. So I teach forensics as well. And there are actually computer forensics investigation. So you see that there's part 3 investigation. So I can just, so let's say I want to borrow, and this is a lesson. Okay, let's say I take the lesson. But the thing is, you can also see a preview at the right-hand side. So if you like what you see, you can use it, or you can then make a copy and then edit what is there. So forensics unit, chapter 2, investigations and seizure. Okay, for example, if you like this, so let's say I like this, I can actually then click and I can copy and edit and make changes. So maybe some of the questions, so for example, this is Computer Misuse Act 1990. This is based on US law. I can change this to based on Malaysian cyber law, for example. Okay, so that's an example of quizzes. Any questions about this tool?
There is one question in the chat.
Okay.
The one that is the free account is 50 students per game, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Not 50
the one that
students
about
overall.
Yes. So
Okay.
yang the statistics and these lessons punya slides ni, are they only for the super account?
No.
Okay,
So
so
you
maknanya
have,
the free account pun they can get lessons and
yes,
get the statistics lah. Okay.
correct. Yeah, because last year I was using the free account, so my statistics are there. It's still there. Yeah.
I have one question. I use Quiz for to give my student as assignment, but
Okay.
when I assign the time, they can pause. Maknanya for each question tu I assign, let's say 10 seconds, but they can pause the time.
Oh,
That's one of
okay.
the disadvantage kan?
All right. I think was that the free account?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's another limitation of the free account, correct?
Okay. So maybe
Yeah.
not for assessment lah, maybe for practice kan?
For practice, yeah, for assessment. But here's what I think can be done, but I'm not sure about how it is in UIA. But over here in UOW Malaysia, because more and more of us are using quizzes, so they are actually going to move on to the education license.
Okay.
Yeah,
I see.
so because you just need to get as many people on board, I think. And then for us, we showed this to the Teaching and Learning Center, which is similar to CPD, right? So, but I think the function of the Teaching and Learning Center in UW Malaysia, they have a bit more say. I mean, they whatever they recommend will be adopted. So we told them, look, quizzes is really good, and the same thing, we told them why it's good. So then they said, okay, we were going to allow this for the university as well. But yes, you are right, there is that pause thing. So to put it as an assessment, yeah, probably not, unless the only thing is unless it's which one was it? The setting, which is you control.
The instructor
Yeah, instructor-led. Yeah, instructor-led.
Okay. But for super account, you can students are not allowed to pause lah.
Yes, you can remove that feature. Correct. Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome. Any other questions?
I have a question, madam.
All right.
For the types of question, like just now you have the fill in the blanks and also click more than one answers, right? Is it only for the super account?
Oh no. The type of questions you ask is available for even the free account. So you have fill in the blanks, you have MCQ, right? You have gosh, I forgot what I did as well. Let me just check. Okay, so you see that's the other thing good that you can see here. I have the old things which were done with the free account. So let's say review, ethical hacking review of chapters 1 and 2, and I want to edit. So yeah, thank you for that question because I didn't show the edit page. So you have that quizzes creator, and sometimes wrong spelling, you want to correct it. So you can click on new question, for example, and you have the same one as what you have with the super account. So multiple choice, checkbox, fill in the blanks, polls, and open-ended. Okay. If you use open-ended, it will not be counted in the marks though. So it's just that you put an open-ended question. You can have a sample answer, but basically the report will just say these are what the students answered because it doesn't have that ability to check individual answers. So just to let you know when you look into creating open-ended. So what I usually do is if I have open-ended questions in, I prefer if it's instructor-led so that I can answer straight away. Yeah, I try to avoid open-ended for the assignment kind of questions, the ones that they do asynchronously on their own.
Alrighty,
Okay.
thank you.
All right. Okay, so let's get back to this. Now, I think you guys can see how looking at that example just now, I have one here I want to share with everyone. But before that, just let me make sure that I've checked, because I want to make sure I cover everything. So,
Madam,
yes, yeah.
instead of I did post this question to the chat actually.
All
Instead
right.
of only for quiz and test, I've spotted just now quizzes also can be used for lesson.
Correct.
Could you please show us example how?
Okay, so hang on. Let me share the screen. All right, a quick one because personally, I don't use quizzes for lessons because I have AHA slides and I find it more interactive. But let's say just now, I think I found, was it heat transfer just now? Oops. And the lesson is actually something new. It's not something that was available in the earlier part when quizzes first came out. So here's a lesson. And as you can see, it's very similar to PowerPoint slides, right? So it's basically just another way to do slides. And so that's why I'm not really, but you can add things like at the end of the lesson there, you can add questions in straight away, which you can also do with the slides as well. So all you do is just click on lesson. And then, you can create your own lesson, okay? And it's still buggy, that's why it's still beta version. So let's say I want to do on computers, okay? And maybe, what do I have later? Lesson, my next class would be, okay, let's say, ethical hacking and countermeasures, social engineering. Okay, and then next, and same thing, you can change the theme, but of course, you have to see probably less themes available for the free version. So you can change the themes if you want to. So it's very similar to PowerPoint, right? And then you edit, you put the title there, so it appears here, and then you can say, for example, then I can change this to maybe just ethical hacking, right? And countermeasures. Okay. Oops, wrong spelling. Okay, and then maybe here is topic, right? So it's pretty much like what you would do in PowerPoint slides. Social engineering, let's say that's the topic I'm supposed to do. And then you can upload images, so very similar. And then if you're done with the first slide, you can add another slide. Okay, and again, The only difference is you have that option to put in a normal slide. So for example, the next slide could be a title. Okay, so you make the changes on the right-hand side and then you put the items that you want there, the points that you want. But then you can also do in between interactive questions. So that's the good thing about using Quizzes Lesson Creator. But for me, I have not used Quizzes Lesson Creator yet. I tried once, but I think it was when they first launched it and it was very buggy, as in it hanged a bit, especially when the interactive questions came out. But I think it's better now. That was about 6 months ago. So quite easy to use as well. Okay, then it tells you this quiz is incomplete. You can finish it later. So it will be in your library as well. Okay, so it says their draft and then you can edit it as well. Okay. Any other questions about quizzes? Lesson is also available for the free version. It's just that I think perhaps the background and then the themes are less. Is everybody okay with quizzes?
Yeah, I think semua dah okay dah. We can move
Okay,
on.
now I found where the chat is. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
So sorry, because the problem is that I've been using MS Teams platform, so apparently it's under more. Okay, all right. Okay, so let's continue now. Looking at the time, I think we've got one thing good is that I can share with you something that I'm working on right now, and it's actually something that I've been doing for the last 3 years. And this is for those who are pretty much familiar with using quizzes, so you know that, you know, for lessons and so forth. So I want to share what I did for an actual gamification of one topic called social engineering under my ethical hacking and countermeasures subject. And this is actually part of the students' assignment. So this gamification lesson is also incorporated into the assignment itself. And based on my planning, so this gamification lesson or assignment, it's for my degree students, mostly year 2 semester 1 and year 2 semester 2, and they are different cohorts. Sorry for the typo, there should be a space there, 2 different cohorts. So year 2 semester 1 students and year 2 semester 2 students, okay, different cohorts. The course that I'm doing is for ethical hacking. Chapter is the skills, ethical hacking skills, and a subtopic of social engineering. So what happened is, why I implemented gamification for this is because the feedback was, when I first delivered the topic of social engineering, it was just more of, okay, what is social engineering? Social engineering is this, let's look at a case study. So they found it very dry, and because it's actually a skill, the students would actually learn more if they could practice it. Okay, but of course, we want them to practice this skill in a controlled environment, in a way that we can monitor and we can tell the students what they can or cannot do. But that was the other problem. Students have this, you know, some students have this resistance, I would say, to things that, you know, like, oh, you can do this, you cannot do this. So how do we create this content whereby we can control, but the students don't feel like they're being controlled? Okay, so that's why I put that for this particular topic. So they find it boring because they can't experience it. So in the past, I did it through face-to-face, and then I moved to blended learning. And then because of the pandemic, it has to be moved totally online. to be honest with everyone here, this kind of activity is actually better to run in a blended learning environment. But I had to adapt because we are not allowed to have face-to-face classes. But for this, I find that if it was blended learning, it's actually more effective, right? So the duration of the time, it's a game that's played on a weekly basis for 5 weeks. So when I say weekly basis for 5 weeks, I don't mean that I start on the first week. No. Our semester is 14 weeks, so I tend to start from week 4, 3 or 4 first. So they're playing it in the middle, not in the beginning. Okay, because of course you can't ask the students to do a mission when they don't actually, you have to actually introduce the topic first. So this topic doesn't appear in the first 3 weeks of the subject anyways. And then the gamification element I use is basically the students have to solve some sort of missions. And then so that's the mechanics, right? Solving missions. And then what other things I put is competition. So students are playing against each other, but at the same time, they can decide to collaborate or team up. So in other words, they have this choice. First mission, they can do alone. The second mission, they can decide to team up with somebody or their classmates. And then there's rewards. I have to remove the rewards portion for online because you can't give them a reward, something tangible reward when you're playing online. But actually you can tell them like claim later sort of thing. Leaderboard, use badges as well, and timing. So they have to complete the mission within a week. And then the tools I use to implement. So you'll notice that because the duration is longer, I have to use more tools for this. So I use Open Learning, which is basically a learning management system. And I use it because that's what UW Malaysia uses. I use MS Teams. That's the discussion part. So what happens is after students complete the mission, we discuss about it live on MS Teams. So we have a meeting and we discuss. And then I used Flippity to create the leaderboard. So like I said, shortcut, don't create a leaderboard on your own. One of the most difficult things to create is a leaderboard. So flippity.net, they actually have, if you want to create a leaderboard, you want to create an actual, like a game board and things like that. They have links and they have the template, and you just follow the instructions and you get a very nice leaderboard and things and stuff like that. Canva I just used because I want to create nicer posters. So my missions are posters that and you can animate the posters if you actually want to. And of course, Google Docs. Google Docs because the leaderboard is actually on Google Docs, but I use flippity.net to create the leaderboard. Okay, so let me just demonstrate to you. So first, what do I use Open Learning for? Okay, so let me just share. I post all the missions on Open Learning. So here's another thing, whatever learning management system you are using, we try to make it, try and make the screen attractive to that student or to the users. So I have the missions here. So Jan 2021 missions game. So Open Learning is required for me to give the details of the mission as well as where they submit. Okay, so that's what I use Open Learning for, the submission. And then let me see. So details is, okay, this is today's mission. So later on, I have a class later with them and they have to look at their third mission for this week. So they get the mission today and they have to solve it by next week before the class ends. So there's a deadline as well. So which one? Here. Give an example of the last week's mission. So Canva. So it's actually just a very short MP4 video, but I use Canva to create it. So it's just like more interactive. Okay, so your main mission, their task was to find out non-academic related things about me. So I'm the target, but very clear, they have to use passive skills only. They're not supposed to use as active skills. And then I had a side mission. Okay, I've got to mention about that. Just to make it interesting, I also added side missions. So it's like if they can't answer, or if they can't complete the main mission, they get some points for doing the side mission. So this side mission is basically a riddle, and they have to find out the answer to the riddle. So this is also related to ethical hacking, which is they look at keys, or they look at clues within the mission, and students can answer. And then they have to post their results under the submission here. And I allow them to post images, upload an image, sharing their thoughts, their discussion, upload a file. So they put all this in, okay? And I check, and then, so every week I check, and then we discuss, because they get a lot of things wrong. They make a lot of wrong assumptions, and then I tell them, look, it's because you didn't, why is your result wrong? So we discuss over MS Teams. So that's how I use MS Teams for. I spend about 10 to 15 minutes in the discussion. But the reason why I post on Open Learning is because, well, the students who submit earlier, I can give the feedback immediately. I don't have to wait until the discussion comes. So I only look at key points and discuss key points during the class, live class the following week, when we discuss the missions. And then what I do next is, so let me share I need to share the leaderboard. So every week, tabulate the scores, and then share the leaderboard with the students. So I'll show you where's the leaderboard. Let me just find the link. I can't remember the link to the leaderboard. It's quite long. This is the one that I said I use Flippity to create the leaderboard. Oh, okay, I see it here. Hang on. Let me share the leaderboard. Okay, here's the leaderboard. So just share the leaderboard. And this is free, that's why there's advertisements. But you can see that overall leader is who. And then you can also look at, based on first mission, who did well in the first mission, who did well in the second mission, and then overall. So this one, I share the link. This link is available to the students. So they can see where's their, where are they currently at. And then this is made possible because Flippity actually has a template. So let me share the template with you guys. The template is on Google Docs. So I'll share the template here. And you just need to change. Put in your students' names, okay? So put in the students' names, the event, and so forth. So you just need to modify this part, and then it will be reflected here, okay? And that is how, and this is one more thing I forgot to mention, and this is actually implemented as part of assignment as well. So they have 4 major tasks in their assignment, and one of the subtasks is this. And they are given participation marks for completing the task. So what is important here is that for me, it's not about being 100% successful in the mission. It's the content that I'm looking for is what kind of techniques they used, and then how they write their report, because that's part of ethical hacking as well, which is they need to create a pen testing report, we call it. So I'm evaluating them on these skills as well, but through the missions, and of course evaluating the skill that they used. Of course, there's some constraints, so I'm going to share some of the constraints with you guys based on. So what I have so far is that, like I said, the best kind of delivery for this kind, for me, was actually blended learning. But moving to fully online is still doable. It's just that the challenges that I face. So this is the plus points. It was very fun and interactive. Fosters discussion and dialogue between the students and myself. It promoted teamwork and healthy competition, and it encouraged open reflection. That's why I have the discussion at the end of every mission every week. And it really improved in terms of feedback, because they could easily feedback on open learning, but those who really want to speak out will also speak out during the discussion session, which is live. But the challenges that I faced, so like I said, this kind of activity, because it's a skill, so sometimes we want to see them face to face as well. I still feel it's better in a blended learning environment, but it's not to say that I couldn't run it on an online environment. A lot of time and effort has to be put in for this. And here's the thing, this lesson has to always evolve, change, modify. In the past, I didn't have side missions, so now I did, so that it makes it very interesting, more interesting. And I'm finding it a challenge when the class size gets very large. So perhaps in the future, second modification, if the class is big, I will have to put them in teams instead of individual. So, and also the game environment, if you see, the problem right now is I have to use open learning, and then I have to use teams, and then I have to use the leaderboard is all over the place, and I'm trying to put and my next view is I should have everything in one location. So I did some research, and apparently I can do this in one template, like a whiteboard, but interactive, called a Blogster or a blog. So I'm actually trying to move it to that. And then, like I said, I started off very small first. It was a face-to-face kind of activity first that evolved to something online. And maybe next time I'll get students to create avatars or put in Easter eggs. Easter eggs are like hidden clues or hidden gems inside the mission itself. Yeah, so that's what I faced and am currently facing. But it is possible to put gamification in your assignment as well. Okay, so I'm open to any questions now.
So Madam Aidora, that's the end of presentation ke macam mana?
Yeah, so the rest is just the links to what I used today and some other gamification tools as well. Oh, okay, let me just mention this. Now you can also do PowerPoint-based templates or based games as well. So you run similar to how you would run the quizzes lesson. So you run your slides, but it's actually a game. So you can actually do that as well. And you don't have to do the slides from scratch. There are 2 links there. Later on, I'll give the slides. I'll email the slides so you have the link there. And these are links to templates, and you just change the content. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of gamification tools, eh?
Yeah. So Socrative is very similar to quizzes as well. They have something called the race game. And then Flipgrid is a bit different. It's allowing students to respond using videos. So instead of getting students to give the answer in discussion form, so I was thinking mission number 4, the students have to record themselves, 2-minute recording of how they solved the mission. So it's just something different. Quizlet is very similar to quizzes. We'll Decide is just, sometimes when you're online and you want a student to answer a question, you take your attendance list and then you choose somebody, but We'll Decide is like a spinning wheel and then it randomly selects the person. So it just makes it more different, more interesting. And like I said,
macam boleh buat macam tu.
yeah, you can just, all you do is just add the people in, and then I've used it once in a while, because then the students are like, no choice, my name will spin, so that you just change the content. So you just need to change the content here, so that I have the student's name there, and then spin the wheel, and then whoever's name is called, then they have to answer the question. So it's just something different, making them more responsive, because it's not like, I'm looking for the name of the student in the attendance list.
So
and then Glocks, pardon?
Be alert lah kan?
Correct, yes. And then Glockster is something that I'm really excited about. I've used it for one of my class already, and they actually gave me some very good feedback. But I'll just share quickly. So at the moment, I just signed in with Google first, because I'm still experimenting. It's still new. So I had this blog I did so it's basically like a whiteboard, but you can include video, and then you can also include link. The HTML link actually appears on the canvas itself here. So I can actually have the mission running here. I can actually have the Quizlet running on the Glockster itself. So it's all in one location. However, it's a bit slow. I think it's very resource intensive at the moment. But this is something that is also different. Students' feedback so far is they found this very interesting, but their complaint was the videos were running a bit slow. Yeah.
It can be like a summary board or something like that.
Yeah, summary board, or like what I use this is I didn't want to talk about introduction, especially introduction to a topic. Yeah, so you can get the students to take 10-15 minutes or 10 minutes. Actually, this is 10 minutes to go through the introduction part, and then you can move on to something more.
Terus lah, macam terus discussion.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, exactly. So this is something that is also good as well. So, yep, I'm basically at the end. Oops. So I'm open for Q&A. We still do have a bit more time, right? Yes. For Q&A.
Could you please show us few example on how to take the data or statistic from the gamified tools that you've learned or you've used to do some sort of maybe research or findings?
I think that, hang on. I think for now, only Quizzes has that ability to extract. I'm not sure. Let me check, because that's the reason why Google Docs is still very important, because you can extract the information, right? Because it's in Excel form. Most of the time, I just download the report, and then some of the reports, because it depends on the tool. So you see, because it's in Excel format, then you can extract the data from there. So I do not know whether the other tools have that feature, but if it's in Excel format, you can just then extract the data to do any statistics or research. But of course, there's formatting that you have to do, and I wish I could share the whole formatting process, but it's time constrained though. But to me, it's very simple. As long as you can download to a form that can be converted to other forms. So Excel is good because you can do that, and it can be extracted. The data can be easily extracted. So you have this view here. Let me show. So you can just take, trying to share the Excel sheet. Okay, so you've got average score there, and then total, and then what they got wrong and so forth. So this data, as long as for me, as long as it's in Excel format, I can extract the data after that. But how I do it, I think it take too much time to explain in terms of how you use Excel to extract. That could probably be the next session.
Right.
Yeah, because it's good. It is how well you can manipulate the Excel sheet, basically. Yeah.
Okay. One of the question in the chat is there any tools to create Monopoly-like game?
Oh, Monopoly. Okay, first before that, yeah, thanks to Mira for suggesting the alternatives to Will Decide. Yeah, there's a lot there as well. Okay, let's check Flippity, because Flippity.net, they have actually a lot of, they have a feature where they can create the game board. So I'm not sure whether Monopoly is there. I haven't found one yet, but there is a board game. Yeah, why not try Flippity? Go to flippity.net, and then there's one here, Flippity board game. Perhaps you can use this. I've only used, even Flippity has a random name picker as well. But I've used Flippity to track badges and the leaderboard, because I can tell you one of the most difficult things to create is a leaderboard. So you can try this. So Flippity board game. So they have a demonstration, they have instructions and the template. So one of the most valuable online tools that I came across was Flippity, and it's all free. All free. Okay, so I hope we'll try it out, because I haven't actually tried it out myself, but please do try it out. And if you can, give me the feedback as well, if it works for you. Am I missing any other questions? Okay, I think that was the last one. Yeah, someone did mention Open Learning is MOOC that's, yeah, premium platform. Okay, since someone mentioned that, let me just share with what my colleagues and I did for study skills, and how the whole content was gamified. So this is what we did on Open Learning. We had something called the Island of Study Skills. So you have to create a story. So you join Captain Lawrence through this journey of study skills. So study skills is for the pre-university students. Survive the island with the skill acquired. Mystery chest awaits you at the end of the journey. So we used Open Learning, and we divided the three main skills into different parts of the island. So you have Bobo Island, Coco Cave, Momo Mountain, and then you can see that each activity, this is, someone talked about pre-recorded videos. So this is example there. And then you collect the badge. So you have a mission of the graded assessment there. So it is possible to do a whole module and gamify the whole module as well. But for this, it took us a team of, there were 7 of us. It took us about 2 months to complete this. Yeah, so
the whole course kan, because you katakan course, betul tak?
Pardon?
It's like a whole course, right?
Yes, it's the study skills course. Yes, correct. But because we didn't, there's no one person that had all the necessary skills to produce this. So we had to get those who were good at recording videos. These are the actual MPU lecturers. And then I was involved in designing the missions. So it was a team effort, and you want it to look really good. So it does take a bit more time when you're doing something, when you're applying it to a whole course, for example. But it is doable. Yes, it's definitely doable. Okay. Anything else? Any other questions? Thank you for sharing as well, the ones that were talking about the other tools as well. I would definitely look into the other tools too. Yeah.
Any more questions from the participants? Otherwise, we can end the session. We will email the slides and the recording through Google Drive, I think, because it's a big data, kan?
But I do have a request for everyone who's still in, if it's okay, before you guys leave, if it's all right, to fill up this for me. So I'm using, another tool that I use was AHA Slides as well. Forgot to mention, AHA Slides like Mentimeter. So yeah, that's it for me. So again, let me just put this up for everybody. You can, anyone who would like to contact me, yeah, that's my email. And yeah, I have to get with the time. So I do have Instagram and Facebook as well. That's the other thing we kind of have to realize that younger students, you know, I never had an Instagram account until last year.
Oh.
Yeah, because they're not on Facebook. The students now are not on Facebook. They're on Instagram. Yeah. So yeah, and if anyone's interested in research collaboration on gamification, yeah, that's also possible as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so anything, just do contact me if there's any other questions or things that you later on you find out that you need to ask later. Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you to everybody.
Thank you, Aidora, for sharing your skills and knowledge today. Thank you for agreeing to give this workshop to all of us. I learned a lot as well. So let's end our session with Tasbih Kifara and Surah Al-As.